if I can have your attention, if you have never been here before to 1 Million Cups, please raise your hand. Think about that. Yay! Well, welcome all the new people and welcome everyone who are regulars. It feels kind of weird sitting like this, doesn't it? I feel funny having my back to people.
Throws us off.
Yeah, like where somebody moved our cheese. What are we going to do? So this morning we have a very, very, very exciting program. Somebody who I've been wanting to hear from for a long time. I don't know what took you so long. Did you get your arm twisted? Was that it?
A little bit.
Good. See, that's what we do sometimes. Yeah. Ron Sanders, I was like, okay. Ron Sanders from SurfKy News, and he's done several other things, and he's going to take us on his entrepreneurial journey and let us know how he got to where he is today. So Ron, without further ado, please come on up.
Thanks a lot. It's good to be with you this morning. I see you guys didn't read your email, because if you'd read your email, you know I was speaking and you wouldn't have been here. But I want to, there's some folks that I brought with me this morning. I want to introduce Val and Gwen Smith over here. They're with SurfKy News. Jayla West is Firmco, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And then Jeannie Barnett works with me. She's manages some of our property. She's a very, very part-time person for us. She works with some of our rental property. First, I want to congratulate Leanne for her promotion. Where is she? She's not. Well, but anyway, that's a great thing. I'm going to talk about several things. I've had a long journey in business, and a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses. Okay, and that's the thing that you got to remember is that anytime you're in business, anytime in endeavor, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And the thing that's critical is that you don't. When you lose some, you learn from it. And that's what you want to do, is you want to take away some things that you learn. I'm going to talk about the pluses first. First People Plus, we started that in 1988. We're now about 500 employees, staffed at 7 offices. Been quite successful. Firmco, we started that, actually that goes back to 1984, the corporation, 1984, and it's a professional employer organization. I'll talk about that. And Jayla's done a great job of helping us grow that. I think we've got, I don't see any, we have any Firmco clients in here? I don't see any. And then we have SurfKy News, and SurfKy News has been a challenge. We started that in 2008, and it has grown. And Val has been a great asset in Gwen and helping us get that company on the right track. But right now, I think we're right at about 140,000 unique readers each month, 1.4 million page views, and our ad hits are up about right at 200,000 to it'll range up to 350,000. So we're about 1.7 million page views. So that's been we're finally getting that going. That has been quite a struggle. Some of these I can't remember, but then I bought some buildings in this process. Now, I've had some pretty spectacular failures, okay? Comes in there. And so, one of those was sport shooters. I remember, you remember sport shooters, okay? If you went over there and an indoor shooting range, state of the art. We got a great inventory, great facility. I mean, we matched, we patterned our range off of the FBI range in Quantico. Great. It was losing $8,000 a month, you know. And the economy went to pot, and it was first of all, with bad initial planning, or our market analysis was flawed. We ended up with a volume of 10% of what we projected. Two, we were in the wrong place. Madisonville, Kentucky was not the place to put that business, because you can go out and farm or coal mines or strip pits and shoot all day long for nothing, and rather paid $60 an hour. our place. So that was another, well, we had some wrong people working for us. And all that goes against you. So in the future, you say, don't want to do that again. We don't want to repeat that. Bluegrass blankets, that was an interesting, you never heard of bluegrass blankets. We bought a horse blanket business in Fort Worth, Texas. And bought all the equipment there and the molds and stuff. Well, we found out that this business in Texas, you don't have to have workers' comp. It's discretionary. Well, we bought all of their product, all of their work in progress. So our attorneys told us, well, you bought the business. So also you bought the liability of any employee that was hurt there in the past without workers' comp. You bought that liability, okay? We didn't pay a whole lot of money for it, but we brought it back kind of warehouse and quietly got rid of that because we didn't want to have the liability if we cranked up and somebody found out about it. So didn't spend a lot of money, didn't lose much, but that's one of the things you have to look at. Mine Safe products, we came up with an innovation to replace boards in roof bolts. They use wooden boards, and we were going to come up with this. We worked with a Canadian company to build these prototypes for boards to hold roof and underground coal mines. And you attach these, and they wouldn't rot. So particularly for entryways and that sort of thing, these were going to save coal companies a ton of money. Well, tremendous failure. These things didn't work. They weren't strong enough. You don't realize how strong boards are until you do it. But we spent quite a bit of money doing that and tried it out, and that didn't work. So that's one of those things that you try and fail with. Then we had another construction company that was just crazy. I had crazy people working for me and a bunch of things. So that didn't work either. All right. So you have failures, and if you fail, you don't worry about it. Okay, you move on and you learn from it, and don't do it again. Now, if you do the same thing again, now that's not, now you got to say, I'm really not with it. Now I'm driven by, I have basically 4 core values. And my employees, and Jayla particularly has heard this time and time again, but I want every person that works for me to be better for having worked for me. Okay? I want you to be better because you work for me. You learn something, you develop something, you've got something. And part of that is, and a huge part of it is that you go home at the end of the day with all your fingers, toes, eyes in your life, okay? And safety is huge. We spend a tremendous amount of time and energy with People Plus and Permco on safety. Employee safety is huge. And folks, I don't want to make money off somebody else getting hurt. And we're going to make every effort to make sure that people don't get hurt. Now, that being said, we've had people hurt. We've had people lose toes. We've had one fatality. And it is horrible. It is simply horrible to live through. When we got investigated, OSHA looks at you, they come in and, and they look at everything you do. And at the end of the day, we got a $1,000 fine over a fatality. Because the employee really was not following instructions, really did the stupid thing. And that's just horrible. But a person's life, and I just really don't want to be involved in that. I know Barry's had an incident like that. He's had a lost employee. And it just killed you to your soul to lose somebody. So you just don't want to go through that, so you do everything that you can to prevent it. Second core value is say what you will do and do what you say. Okay? At one time, when I was in the coal business, I had $1 million of coal in barges or en route, and I did not have a single piece of paper. It was all verbal, word of mouth. The customer called me and said, I need some coal. I told my supplier, I said, listen, I need 20 barges of coal, whatever it was. And we loaded it and sent it, and I sent an invoice, and they paid it, and I paid the supplier. But not one, I didn't have a purchase order, anything, you know, and that is scary. You know, that is, Rufus over here is like, boy, that was dumb.
But I think we've all been there.
Yeah.
Maybe not $1 million, but we've all been there.
And you know, and that's bad business, but that's the way you operate it. Know your business and be an expert at it. You know, whatever your business is, you need to be an expert at it. And you need to be a person, a go-to person in that business. It's really big, okay? The way you make money is not paying it out in taxes, all right? Which is a problem. But you need to know the pitfalls and loopholes in the tax code. Big thing is you got to comply with the law, okay? Know the law and comply with the law. And that is very important to making money. Now right now I'm carrying a pretty sizable tax credit, a personal federal income tax credit that I'm carrying forward. Totally legal, okay? Know the law, follow the rules, and carry it forward. Now, I am totally self-made, okay? I grew up on a farm. My dad worked for Sears. He was an appliance repairman. My mom, which a lot of you know or do, was a financial secretary for a school, okay? I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I didn't have $1 million that my dad sent me to start my business, okay? So I didn't have the advantages of Donald Trump. I have been totally, completely broke twice, okay? I mean, I was a poster child for bankruptcy. I had my liabilities were far in excess of my assets. But I never filed bankruptcy. I worked out of it. So both those times I was working for somebody else. Both the time, because they couldn't pay me. So that was a bad deal. So you have got to be able to overcome adversity. The thing that probably helped me, there are several things that helped me. Number one, when I got out of college, Vietnam was going on, or when I was in college, Vietnam was going on. When I got out of college, it was still going on. And I was thinking, man, you're going to get drafted, okay? And you're going to go to Vietnam in the trench. And I decided I would rather, if I want to go, I mean, this was a conscious thought. If I'm going to die, I'd rather die in a $6 to $10 million airplane than in a muddy trench, okay? So I went in the Air Force as a pilot, and I thought, man, I'm going to see the world. Well, 6 years in the Air Force, I never got out of South Texas. So I went in and went in pilot training, the ROTC, finished my pilot training, and the funny thing was, is when you graduate pilot training, you're ranked in your class, both academics and flying. And so I was ranked right at the top, so like top 5 or 6 or something like that. So man, I want to fighter. And I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, our block of aircraft came down. We had one old fighter, and that went to the top guy. Okay, so the next choice was I could either go to B-52s, C-141s, or something like that. But I decided I want to go to Air Training Command where I can get some more flying time. Then I can go into fighters, you know. So I did all this stuff. I want to fly this airplane, this base. Well, little did I know that my destiny was already planned. And the Air Force, they do that. You know, they give you all this choice. So, well, here's what you get. Well, I got what they wanted. They wanted me back there as an instructor at Laredo Air Force Base. And I was looking so much to get out of Laredo. I went back to Laredo as instructor pilot. Then they sent me, volunteered. I wanted to go to Southeast Asia. I wanted to be a career pilot, had my regular commission, was a captain. I wanted to go get a combat tour in Southeast Asia because that would be what you need to do for a career pilot. Well, they sent me 150 miles up the road to be an instructor in the instructor school. So my last 2 years in the Air Force, I spent instructing pilots how to become instructor pilots. Then I got to fly with some of the POWs when they were released those from Vietnam, and I said, man, I'm glad I didn't go, okay? Because those guys, that was tough. But the Air Force was good. It was good to teach you how to deal with adversity when you have problems. One period of time when I was flying, my squadron commander called me in, and he said, Lieutenant, he said, do you realize that you've had more in-flight emergencies in the last 30 days than the rest of this base combined? And I said, it doesn't surprise me. I had students that didn't want to fly with me because they said, it's bad luck. It was so bad. It was so bad that one day I went out, and I'm paranoid. I mean, I said, I just can't believe my bad luck. I went out and there was a pre-flight an airplane and it had a hydraulic leak on it. And I turned the airplane down. Now, hydraulic leaks and hydraulic failures are very rare. I had 2 in 30 days, and one of those 2 was the airplane they gave me to replace the one that had the hydraulic leak.
Oh my gosh.
So we went up and flying and total hydraulic failure, and it's not critical, but landing gear, it's what hydraulic knows what steering, thrust attenuators, speed brakes, all that stuff work off hydraulics, the flaps, so you have to be careful with that. But it taught you how to deal and think through an emergency situation. That the worst thing you can do is panic. And that's true in your business. You have something go wrong, you've got to stop and say, I've got to think this through. Okay? I've got to make good decisions, and I can't panic. And that's really critical in your business, because each one of you in your professional career, you're going to deal with a crisis. And how you handle that crisis is going to determine how successful you are in your business. From the Air Force, I went into construction with my brother-in-law and his partner. That was not a good plan. And then from there into the coal industry, and ended up working for Albert Whittington. I don't know if you guys Dan may know Albert. Barry knew Albert. You didn't know Albert? But Albert was a interesting character. And I went to work for him, and we formed a little company, and I had a little piece of it, and we were doing coal sales, and Albert walked in one morning and said, I quit. I said, have you ever had your boss quit on you? So my boss quit and gave me the company. Well, he gave me a shell, okay, and a car with a car note. And so I borrowed $3,000 from my sister-in-law, and we went into business. And started Emerald Energy, did that for about 25 years. In '87, I did a really stupid thing. Ran for Secretary of State. Charlie Rogers, Dan knows Charlie. Charlie Rogers came to me and he said, we need somebody to run for Secretary of State and statewide. I said, Charlie, why me? And he said, I think you'd be good. Be interesting. So I checked around, called Jim Bunning, who was U.S. Senator, and I said, Jim, what do you think? And he says, Ron, you maybe have a 1% chance of winning. And I said, Jim, that's more than I thought I had. So I ran for Secretary of State, and that was really interesting because I got to know people statewide. I got to meet a lot of people, drove a lot of miles, and met a lot of great people, and it really helped perspective. And as a business person, the larger perspective you have, the greater. I met a lady named Nelda Barton from East Kentucky, and Nelda invited me to be on the state chamber, work with the state chamber. So I ended up spending over 20 years as a board member on the Kentucky State Chamber. Huge, okay? if you can do that as a business person, is that networking and getting to know people is enormous. Perspective, and it also gives you contacts that you wouldn't have otherwise. And that's what it is in business. It's relations. It's the relations that you have with all the different people. And so if you can connect with those folks, well, that the Kentucky Chamber grew into other things. We met other people doing all kinds of things. And so as a result, we were able to grow People Plus into a statewide organization because we knew people, we had contacts, we were able to develop the company. Let's see. Then we saw, when I ran for Secretary of State, I saw that there was Wes and Brenda Schischler in Louisville had a staffing company. So because I ran for Secretary of State, we saw that there was a need or there was a service that was not being provided in Western Kentucky. And so that's where we started People Plus. It was from that contact with Wes and Brenda that we were able to understand the opportunities with staff. Then we saw that there was a need for small businesses to have an HR department. We saw that small businesses were really struggling with HR, and we created PermCo. And PermCo was kind of a behind-the-scenes company, and we've grown that. The crazy thing was is when we opened SurfKy, that was originally iSurf. And I had a crazy brother-in-law that talked me into doing it. All right. And it turns out he is a total crook. Total crook. He and my sister divorced, and he's gone somewhere. Total crook. I mean, so.
This is being videoed.
Don't you say what you feel?
I've got the paperwork to prove it already. So I'm not saying anything. I mean, when the guy talks bad mouths you to your mother about you, that's
Your mother believed me?
well, I think she was for a while. But I think probably right. My mother was a writer for a newspaper, and as you remember, she wrote for the Messenger as the food editor for a long time. I asked her one time. I said, Mom, what would you like to have done in your life? And she said, well, I just really liked writing, and I liked writing about food. And she said, I just wish I'd done more. So I'd go see Tom Clinton. That's when we were on good terms. I went to see Tom. And he said, hey, Tom, you need a food editor, for the paper. And he said, well, yeah. We said, we need somebody in it. So she wrote for the Messenger for many years. And so I think I got that from her writing, her news thing. And so we started then iSurf and now SurfKy. The other things that we've done, we created People Plus. We got together with a group of other companies to provide our workers' comp insurance. Workers' comp in the staffing business is huge. We spend, I think, about $500,000 a year in workers' comp. Very expensive more than that, probably. It's a lot of money that we spend on workers' compensation insurance. So we went together with a group of people, and we were self-insured through an offshore captive. So we got to know a lot of people. We went into the American Staffing Association, got to know people. We went into some exclusive group, which is temporary service. TentNet, which is a small group, and we went to an even more exclusive group called Wigwam, where we go and exchange ideas. And that's what you want to do, is you want to find the best in your industry that are non-competing and go sit down with them and work to see what are their best practices. What do they do that you don't do? Or what do you do that they don't do? What are the problems they've had that you've solved? What can you help them solve? And that's huge. You just come up with all kinds of things of ways that you can improve yourself. But those associations, again, it's relational. And, you know, I've got on my contact list, I've got 40 people that I can call and say, how do you handle that? I got this problem, how do you handle it? Or do you have a form, what do you use to deal with these yahoos that do this or that or the other? How do you handle it? And you talk to 2 or 3 of them, or you can put it out on the internet, you know, or on a email blast to several of them and say, hey, do you have a form for this? Or how do you do collections? Or how do you pay your salespeople? And all of those things are really critical to you running the business. And knowing how to leverage, I guess, all of that information together. I know the big thing, though, really the big thing, is I continue on the state chamber. I know there was one other point. Then there was a group of us that got together and we were talking about staffing. And what if we formed a national staffing company? Why don't we, because we couldn't compete with the Manpowers and all that, you know, the big staffing companies, national, that could go across many states. And we'd go to a client and said, we'd like to do your staffing. Well, we only work with the national companies. So we just said, why don't we form a national company and we'll all support the company. So we did that about 8 years ago. It's called Answer Team. And I'm on the executive committee. We're one of 22 owners. And we had about 35 people, but it was so bad the first 5 years, it lost so much money, they kept dropping out. Okay, so we got down to 22, changed our focus, changed the way we did things. This year, Answer Team, for the 22 that are left, we will have a 100% return on investment from the 1 year. Okay. So the total dollars we put in up front, we'll make it back this year, in 1 year. Okay. So that's a pretty phenomenal return. But we'll be about, we're at $30 million in sales this year, and we'll probably be $50 million, if not next year, the year after, on the trend line that we're going on. So that's been a great investment. That's a great workforce. Let's see if there's anything else. I'll just open it up for questions. That's kind of.
How did you like start networking with people in order to start the Answer Team? How did you guys get together to say, you know, as a group, did you put them together? Did somebody else talk to you?
No, it's one of those things that you're in a group discussion, and it was our TempNet group started from. TempNet was a group of non-competing staffing companies, and we were saying, what if, you know, you do just, what if we did this, what if we did that? Is there a market for this? Is there, you know, how can we do it? And so right now, I mean, we're a little company in Madisonville, Kentucky, and we're part of a national company that's growing like gangbusters.
What was you said that when you got together with the Answer Team that a lot of people had dropped out because they were losing money. What investment was there if you all already had your own businesses? I don't understand exactly how it works.
Everybody put money in.
Corporation or?
Answer Team is a limited liability corporation, the LLC, okay? So you put money in it. Then when that money runs out, you do a capital call, okay? And
I'm not a financial person.
Okay, well,
why did you have to put money in if you all had your own companies?
Because you have to have, that company has to have money to operate, because you have staff, offices.
So it was like basically a clearing house for each of your, okay, I was trying to figure out how you all got together, you know, why would there be?
The Answer Team was basically, we started out as a national sales organization for us, you know, and that, you know, we would supply the people in our markets. And so you had to have a sales team that went out and got the business, and you had to pay them, okay? Well, that was we had to put money in to do that. And when that money runs out, you know, they lost all the money they put in, you got to put more money in. Well, a lot of those people said, I don't want to put any more money in. So when you did not meet the capital call, you lost your stock.
So they just didn't have a vision for what was coming ahead or couldn't afford.
We actually put in more than everybody else, so we're the largest, we're the largest percentage holder. Because I believe, I knew it would work, we just need to get the right people in there to do it.
See, that's the next question as far as your system, that company worked, not all of them went. So at some point, if it appeared, the ones that were pulling out, it must have appeared to them that this is a losing proposition. And, like anything, you have to realize where your losses are, cut your losses and run.
And plus, a lot of this was during the recession,
Yeah.
and a lot of people didn't have extra money,
So it took vision for the ones that stay and throw in more money. It took vision to do that.
Right.
Because there are more times than not, there's businesses that lose money and people just keep throwing the money in, keep throwing it in, and you just lose more.
And that's
So
just,
at some point, somebody's gotta be right, but in this case, you were right, but had a plan.
and
it worked.
and sometimes I've been wrong.
But it doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work, that's exactly right, so you gotta change it to, you gotta change it around. Carolyn?
Lots of questions. Of all the businesses that you started,
Mhm.
what would you say, and it doesn't have to be one that necessarily, has been the most profitable, but what was your favorite one? Like, is there one that you wish really would have worked that you were excited about, or is it one of the ones that you currently have?
I think probably the most interesting business is SurfKy is the most interesting, because you are trying to connect people. Now, Permco and People Plus are great businesses, and I really enjoy that because I really like the service part of them, and we've got great people working for us. But I think I love a challenge, and SurfKy has been a huge challenge. Okay, it's been a huge, and Val, is running the day to day, and he's operated his own business and in the media. He owned WTTL one time, and it's a different animal. It is really different, and we're on the cutting edge. We're doing things that nobody else is doing, and the other thing I like is we have tools now. We can measure how we're doing. We know exactly how many people are on our site, how many, what they're looking at, where they came from, how they got there, and that's all instantaneous. It's great to know, how you're doing right then. And we measure everything too. It's ridiculous.
When you you said at the outset that you all at SurfKy it seems like you're reaching a critical mass of page hits and traffic and that sort of thing. To what end? Is that to a point to where it's like advertisers are more interested than what they were 5 years ago, or what? How do you measure success?
Our success is measured on our customers.
Yeah.
And that's
advertisers or readers?
Our advertisers.
Yeah.
Readers are getting something for nothing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting something, but you got to have enough to put your time and money into it. Our measure of success is our advertisers. Of my clients, of my advertising that I have, okay, this year I've had 100% renewal. They're usually on an annual renewal. And so we sell, their ad is up 24/7, 365. And you click on it and it goes right to your website or whatever. And a lot of people spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a website and then not have anything to capture it with.
Mm-hmm.
They depend on the search engines and Facebook and that sort of thing. But you want to capture the casual observer. The best marketing that you can do for your business is a sign in front of your business. That is your best marketing dollar for your business. And that sign should do two things. It should say who you are and what you do. And well, I could have heard this. Oh, no. Anything else you got on your sign? Now, Barry's got his price up there, which is, that's a big deal, because that's how you set it. But your sign for your business should just do two things. Because what does your sign do? It's to get people that are driving by to know your business. So you are what you do. You might have your phone number on there, but if people are driving by, are they going to be able to read the phone number? You can have your website on there. You can have a reader board and all that sort of thing. That's pretty much lost. I mean, it gets you some of it, but that sign should be telling one thing. First of all, who you are, what you do, and the second thing for people that are looking for you to say, I got you. I got you now. I know where you are. So that's what that sign is for. And it's the second best marketing for your business is if you have delivery trucks or trucks that are running around town, have your name on it. A wrap is a great advertising tool, great marketing for your business. First United Bank has that, your car has a wrap on it. That's great marketing. For what it costs, and if it's all over town, it's a great thing. Now, that being said, when you got your name on there, that truck better be clean. It needs to have all parts on it, okay? If it's got the bumper hanging off and the fender all bent up and scratched up and there's your name on it, what does that say about your business? It's not good, okay? So if you're gonna have that running around town, it needs to be a good vision. You've gotta be a good, you need to keep that car clean, Rufus, if you're gonna drive it all over town. Because if it's dirty and beat up, it's not a good point. Now, third place, SurfKy is right in there as far as value for your marketing. And for most businesses, not every business. But you have to know your business how you market. Did you have
Yeah, I just wanted to back kind of in the same area. So, what has changed in the last year, few years, whatever? Is it basic internet penetration, more people are getting on their phones and can read your site, or is there something that you all are doing differently that has, turned the corner with SurfKy?
We have flip-flopped from desktop and mobile device to mobile device and desktop. We're probably 60%, 65%.
60% right now.
66%
Yeah.
on your
About 11%
smartphone.
on tablet.
11% on tablet, 66 on what?
On the mobile.
On the mobile device.
And desktop is going down. I mean, so it's going to, but your smartphone, everybody's, whenever you have a site, it has to be
Mobile friendly.
mobile friendly. It has to be. It has to be. And the other thing from our perspective is our advertisers' ads got to be on there, on that mobile device,
And we've tailored to that too, and made it more mobile friendly
Yeah.
last year, actually. We've done that too.
Okay.
That's helped a little bit, I believe.
So people, that ad, that our advertisers, it's got to be on everything we're on, because your ad has to be visible. Now, business is very much relational, okay? You do business because you have relationships with folks. However, buyers are both relational and transactional. And you can be, Carol may get a massage client, that most of hers are relational. She has a relationship with them. They're always going to go to her. There's going to be other people who are going to shop around and see what the cheapest price is. Now, I don't know where you get groceries, okay? How many people go to Kroger for groceries? Marketplace, okay? I'm not sure what Walmart. Sureway, all of them. Okay, why do you go, and when you're thinking about your business, think about your buying habits. Why do you go to where you go for groceries? Okay? Now, I go to Kroger for one reason. Is Kroger the cheapest place in town? No, it's
You
not.
know where things are.
I know where the things are. I know the bread and milk are on opposite ends of the store, but I can still go in and get bread and milk and I'm out of there in a few minutes. If I go to Walmart for bread and milk, I'm gonna hike across the driveway, I'm gonna walk all the way back to the store and come back for bread and milk, and it's not worth it. I'm gonna go see Barry, okay, for bread and milk, if I got it, that's all because I can get in down there and hurt it. All right, so why do you buy what you buy? And it's relational. Now, there's some people that will go to Walmart and buy the bread because they got a coupon for 20 cents off. And they'll go to Kroger to get the milk because they got a coupon there, and then they'll go to somewhere else to get something else. They'll go buy berries because he can milk and gasoline. And those people are transactional. And what you want as a business is you want to have the relational business. You want that person that's always going to be there. What we do with Surf Kentucky is we help you and your business be relational. Because you're getting top of mind all the time. There's what's going on. But I think that's does that answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah, the mobile kind of tailoring for that.
Yeah, very.
I would love to hear you comment on the Affordable Care Act.
Okay.
And the dynamics of family business.
Let's see how much time we got. Affordable Care Act. Okay, the Affordable Care Act does some good things. There's some good things in there, but there are also some very, very bad things. It's very bad public policy. For example, for our temporary employees, we had a mini-med plan that was a good plan. I mean, people would sign up for that. I mean, before the ACA, they would sign up for it. It was decent insurance and it was affordable. It was affordable and it had some decent coverage. Now, we're having to provide a policy, and the only thing that we can afford has a $6,500 deductible, okay? If you're making $11, $12 an hour, a $6,500 deductible is impossible. I mean, you're bankrupt. They're going to file bankruptcy. It's just bad policy. I think it is a step towards the single payer system or socialized medicine would be far better than what we've got with Obamacare. But, I think that's was the intent. As far as a family business, People Plus is, our daughters run People Plus now. And that's been a challenge, But the good thing is our daughters are very good at what they do. And they are very skilled they have different skill sets and they complement each other very much. I love when we go to a meeting or conference, they're working together and they are amazing. They can work you over and you'll love it. Okay? And they're great at bouncing off people, but they've done a great job of taking over the business, running it. I'm there just to, when they get in trouble and have a question or say, what do you think about this? And that's a role that I've enjoyed very much. Anything that's, okay. But it's a challenge, and it's,
But you have to find those weaknesses and strengths in each one of your daughters, put them in the right place.
Yeah, you do, but they gravitate to where their strengths are, and then you encourage that. I think you're better off in building strengths than you are trying to overcome the weaknesses. You just try to avoid it. Okay, here.
All right, these are the philosophical questions.
Okay.
All right, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently? And what is the smartest thing you think you've done in business and life? And the final one, or my final one, what advice would you give to a new person who is looking to start a business?
Okay.
Besides, don't do it. You can't say that.
No,
That's not allowed. Okay.
not do it. It's not.
Okay. All right.
If I start all over again, and that's one thing I always avoid.
We're looking back and you said, I wish I would have.
Every one of us, we cross paths of shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay? And you don't worry about shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay? You don't, that's not what happened. If it's bad, don't do it again. If it was good, next time, try to take it, because you don't know. But if I had it to do all over again, when I was in college, I took Fortran 2, okay, which is a computer program language. Fortran 2 was the basis of Lotus 1-2-3, which became Excel, okay? Took Fortran 2, loved it. I mean, I was great with computers, with the program. I could program in Fortran and in BASIC, but I was focused on flying airplanes. Well, if I'd have turned and gone to work for Microsoft, I wouldn't be here today. Knowing what I know now, I could have found some guy named Bill Gates that's working in his garage and say, "Hey, help me. Yeah, can I help you out a little bit?" You know, that was that would probably be the biggest missed opportunity.
Did it feel like then the computers were gonna
No,
be that big?
no. I'll tell you the funny thing. I was a bidder when they were putting the Amazon distribution center. I had an option to buy the York building. Had the bank financing all done for it, and had the option to be a bidder for Amazon for the distribution center. Went back when they put the one in Lexington, when they did it. And so I went to the bank and I was ready to sign, and the banker said, "You're wanting to spend almost your entire net worth to to buy a facility, upgrade a facility, and you got one customer, being Amazon, and that customer has never made a profit."
That wasn't you, Rufus, was it?
No,
Before my time.
Woo, okay, yeah.
Goes back to the
and I
service.
said, "Good point." And I did it.
Oh,
So I stepped. Now, would I have gotten it? No, probably not. Don't know, but I was on the short list of 3 or 4 that could have done it. So, but you got to look at what's the risk, and are you willing to risk the whole, the farm on?
But see, on the flip side of that, had your net worth been substantial enough that it wouldn't have bankrupted you had that deal gone south,
Yeah.
then you could have been in a whole different
Oh,
position at all.
absolutely.
This was taking a risk that you could afford to lose,
Yep.
but when you put it all on the line, and whether it's millions or hundreds, it's a matter of how much.
Yeah. What are you?
And in that case, you were kind of, at your limit on your risk
Yeah,
tolerance.
exactly.
It wouldn't have been a good thing to do.
It's not. And probably I could have gotten some other investors by that time, and it and just,
I can give you $100 on it.
I know.
I remember you telling me that Amazon story years and years ago.
Yeah.
From that to getting into the staffing early, you've had remarkable vision. And as you look forward, whether it be, print media going to tablets or in the staffing, share a vision.
And I'll kind of combine that with Carol's other part. All business is providing goods and services to people, if you'll think about it. All business is providing goods and services to people. So the thing that you want to get ahead of is, what do people need? And, and what can you do to serve people? Because that's what it's about, and people are going to need food, shelter, clothing, and then beyond that, you get into discretionary dollars, beyond those fundamentals, and then it gets a little riskier. I mean, like sports shooters, those sports shooters was discretionary dollars that people had to spend. And when gas prices were going through the roof, going from $1.35 a gallon to $4 a gallon, they had no discretionary dollars. When they were losing jobs, they were in threat. They didn't have any. They didn't want to spend money. So when you get beyond, in food service, you guys, that's one of the fundamental points. However, when it comes to eating, they can either eat out, or the perception of the cooking at home is a lot cheaper, you know. So there's, there are risks there, and then there are risks of competition. But going forward, the fundamentals are always going to be the same. The changes are in delivery of goods and services, of energy, of transportation, and I think about there's a phenomenal opportunities going forward with the expanding population, particularly in the means of transportation. I mean, your means of propulsion of vehicles is going to change dramatically over the next 20 years, and we will eventually start going away from gasoline-driven vehicles to other vehicles. We're already seeing a big change, for the better or for worse, in the way electricity is generated. We're going from coal to natural gas and nuclear and solar, increasing that solar technology is improving. So, but these are big dollar stuff, so it's a matter of getting your niche, and that niche gets narrower and narrower as our whole business world increases. But you particularly in medical, and I think medical is another great opportunity for the future. But as far as starting your own business, I think if you want to control your destiny, working for yourself is good. You know what the biggest difference is between working for yourself and as far as making money and working for somebody else is when you're working for yourself, you're working a lot harder and a lot longer. Okay, you get a lot more bosses.
More bosses.
You've got a lot more bosses. That's right. You thought you had one boss.
Exactly what I
You got a lot of bosses.
You're
Now
never really off duty.
you're never off duty. So, I mean, it's a real commitment to do that. So, I think we're out of time.
Yeah, okay. Does anyone have like one burning question?
I
Okay,
just want to
Dan.
make one statement.
Okay.
Ron and I belong to a supper club. It's like 6 couples that get together from time to time, and we meet once a month.
I thought you said a soccer club at first, and I was like, that is so cool.
But I'm gonna tell you what, the men eat at one end of the table and women at the other, but there's not a Friday night that doesn't go by that someone in that group doesn't make a statement that goes around and everybody thinks about it, and it's beneficial to everybody sitting there. And he has been a great mentor to a lot of people.
That's awesome. Thank you for your, so thank you, Ron, very much. We really appreciate your doing the early thing with us. See, it can be done. Anyone in here who has not presented their business, or if you know someone who you would like to see talk about their business, I'm thinking of 1 or 2 people. He's not looking at me now. Anyhow, we do have, next week, we have Donna Slayton, author. She's going to be talking about her new book, that children's book that she just got published. It is so cool, and she's been doing the tour. I've seen her all over the place and on the internet talking about her book and doing book signings, and it's great to get kids involved in reading, and it's about a dog, so it's even better. December 16th, we do not have anyone yet, so if anyone has someone you want to tell us about, we'd love to have them. We're not having, we will not meet December 23rd or December 30th for the holidays, so you get a couple weeks off, and then we've got a great calendar coming up the first of the year. We're bringing in some people from out of town, and we've got a lot of the people that kept saying, I'll do it after the holidays, so we're sticking them to that. They're doing it after the holidays, but congratulations we have a good group here today, and tomorrow, if anyone has blood here in this room, if you have blood, the blood drive at the Lions Club, it's the Community Civic Club's blood drive, and there's a huge need this time of year for blood. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody. Come to the blood drive and donate some blood. If you aren't in one of the clubs, donate it to Rotary. Yay.